What's up? It's your boy K Shine. I'm back again. I know it's been a minute since my last video. I do want to apologize, but I've been going through a lot in my trading journey, just refining a lot of things, changing a lot of things, and that's really what this video is about. It's not going to be a specific topic like it normally is. This is more so just an update on my trading journey, where I'm at, where I'm starting from. Like, it's kind of a lot to unpack, so I'm gonna just jump straight into it. So over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I've gotten really serious about my studying as far as making sure it's realistic, trading during times that I'm actually trading at night, creating a consistent approach to the market, and really dissecting like what I want to get out of my trading. Is the trading style I'm even utilizing fitting for my personality and who I am and what I would like to get out of the market? So, excuse the little glare on my computer too. Like, it's dark, so it's dark outside and stuff. So like I had to have the light on, but also it's like a glare from the light. So excuse that glare if you can see that. Um, but getting back to it, like being real with myself in that way really has helped push me a lot. So the first thing was I've changed my time frame. So before, where I was more intraday swing because of who I was learning from, now I'm definitely more scout, intraday. If anything, maybe even a little more scout. So the story behind that was I was really doing some back testing. Like, I was trading, I was losing some trades, and I was like, bro, I really need to start studying. And that was around the time I seen Q-Bank's story, where he was pretty much just outright saying, like, everybody tries to blame psychology, everybody tries to blame something. Your skill set's just not that great. And that really hit me because, now I'm on year three, and it's like, okay, I'll see some success, and then some success will go away. And I'm thinking, oh, well, my psychology is great. I'm not being affected emotionally by the losses. But the reality is, like, the skill set is there. Like, at the end of the day, this is still a skill. And I feel like in the beginning stages, like, you're trying to make everything so mechanical. When you're reading books like Trading in the Zone, and you're looking at courses as a beginner, you're trying to make your strategy as automated as possible, where you're really not utilizing the knowledge you have, but you're going into the market with a very specific game plan every day. And I do believe that is a good thing while you're mastering your emotions. But once you get past that stage, you really have to work on the skill. And the skill is sometimes just understanding your concept to the best of your ability. When it comes to supply and demand, I feel like I'm super cold with that concept. I know I am. When it comes to just my eyes on a lower time frame market, I'm starting to realize like I'm really cold with that. And so getting back to how I got to the low time frame though, I was doing some back testing, and what I started seeing was like during my back testing, I was cooking. But the thing is, during my back testing, a lot of the trades were happening outside of my trading time, or they were taking days to fully play out in a way that I would like to normally see them. And that made me realize like maybe my trading approach doesn't work for me. So it led me to asking myself the question, okay, what type of results would you like from the market? And that led me to saying, like, I would like to be in and out of the market. If I have a session, my trading session is from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. I would like to be done within my trading session. Some days I could be done early. Some days I could finish at the very end, um, and then be able to evaluate my performance right after my session is done. So after understanding that, it was like, okay, I'm not looking to be in trades for 12 hours or more. I'm not looking to be in trades for more than a day. Like, I'm looking to be in trades hour, 2 hours, even 3, 4, 5 hours, 6 hours. 12 hours is probably the max I'm looking to even be in trades. But really, I would ideally like to be taking trades that I get in and I'm out within the time frame of my trading session. So understanding that, I was like, okay, I definitely need to go to the lower time frame. And my mentor, who was Lucas, or I would say he's one of my mentors, somebody whose course I made the most sense to me. It started making things make more sense. So, but he is a swing trader. So I got a lot of good concepts from him, But trying to just put all of those concepts onto the lower time frame, it was not working for me. And this is a part that might help somebody else. Like, be real with yourself and don't be afraid of education. So I'm a very spiritual person, and I just kind of pay attention to the things God has connected me to consistently. And what I'll say is, God has connected me to like Doyle for like the last 6, 7 months. And when I say connected, it's not like I've been meeting him or talking to him on a personal level, but it's mean like his videos are continuously coming across my page. I'm continuously watching them. I'm looking at this man's story every day. Like, the things he's doing is catching my attention. So God is connecting me to him in some way. And what I can say is being 100% real. Like, when it comes to the lower time frame, that is the coldest nigga that I've ever seen on the lowest time frame. And like, and I mean from a consistency standpoint, because it's gonna be people who probably be like, oh, well, so and so make more money than you do it. Bro, I don't care about that money aspect. I care about the consistency. I have watched this man for the last 7 months win every day. Not on no fake shit. Not just posting no profits. Like, he's posting the moves. He's posting the profits every single day. And I ain't gonna say he won every single day, but what I would say is, out of the last 6 or 7 months of me watching him, he was profitable every day except, I want to say 2 or 3. Out of 6 or 7 months, and this man trades every day of the trading week except Wednesdays. So when I was trying out my things and realizing that, okay, the things I was using on the high time frame that work really well aren't working so well on the low time frame, I need to get educated on the low time frame. Instead of trying to force it to work and extending my learning curve, I said, okay, I'm not really well versed when it comes to that low time frame. So who's the best person on the low time frame that I know of? The first person that came to mind was Bill Exchange. So that night, I made the investment. I bought his course. I went through the entire course in one night and started practicing it after. I started practicing his course and his like strategy only for like 2 weeks straight, or like, yeah, a week and a half, 2 weeks straight. After I had a really good concept of how he viewed the lower time frame market, now I went back to the way I viewed the market and the concepts that I had and mixed them together to come up with a strategy that I feel like fits who I am and what I want to get out of the market. And that's another thing. Just because I bought this man's course didn't mean that I had to completely copy him and throw away everything that I learned in the past, right? I'm just making an investment in myself and saying, hey, I'm moving to the lower time frame and I don't know anything about the lower time frame. And the mentor who I look up to, he doesn't even trade the lower time frame. So who is somebody who I know is great when it comes to the lower time frame that I can learn about the lower time frame from? And Doyle was that person. And I would say I took some things from him, I took some things from Lucas, and I combined them together, and now I have my own low time frame strategy that I feel like fits me. Now, one thing that I'll say I did during this process to help make this strategy was write down questions that I had or that I wanted answers to from certain things. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with Doyle, he's like a one-to-one trader. Like, he will take a one-to-one trade and he is content with that any day, every day, right? Like, he might let it run sometimes, but he's content with that one-to-one any day, every day. But for me, I wasn't that content with it. So as I'm going through his strategy, as I'm practicing his strategy on my own, the question that I wrote down was, how can I get higher risk to reward ratios? And then the second question was, one thing that I would say Lucas is an amazing teacher at is teaching how to use multiple time frames together and how they work together in correlation. He was very good at showing how the daily worked with the 4-hour, how the 4-hour worked with the 1-hour. And the second question I asked myself was, how can I use my lower time frame, well, my higher time frames for my lower time frame? I know that might sound confusing, but like when I was intraday swing, I was using 4-hour, 1-hour, 15. Once I started moving to the lower time frame, I'm using 1-hour, 15, 5-minute. So I'm like, how can I use all three of them together? Because another thing about Doyle, he trades one time frame only. So I was like, okay, trading one time frame only can definitely consistently get you a 1-to-1, but my two questions were, how can I increase that 1-to-1, and how can I utilize the 1 hour with the 15 minute, the 15 minute with the 5 minutes, so that I am getting better trades, so that the trades that I'm getting in do provide me a higher risk to reward ratio. And by asking those questions and having them written down, even if I couldn't find answers to them tonight, which, well, that night, which more times than not, I wasn't able to find the answers in one night, I would sleep on it, wake up, go back to it, looking for answers for those exact same questions. And out of it, I feel like I was able to create something very special for myself. And um, that's really been it. So overall, like, I'm still using a lot of the same concepts that I was using. I'm still using supply and demand. I'm back to kind of using some support and resistance, which was before my YouTube time, so y'all wouldn't even know shit about that. Um, and just really trusting myself and trusting my knowledge. That's what I'll say. I've kind of given up the idea that you have to have one set specific strategy to succeed in the market. Like, I don't think that's the case. I think you just need to have a great understanding of a few different concepts. Like, supply and demand isn't just one strategy, because there's so many ways you can use supply and demand. But I feel like I have a great grasp on the concept of supply and demand overall. So I don't mind showing up to the market and allowing myself to trade supply and demand as I'm seeing it at that moment, instead of coming to it like, oh, instead of coming to the market and saying I have to see supply and demand in this particular way for me to get into a trade. Like, I feel like I would shoot myself in the foot, because it would be trades that I would see, but it didn't present itself in that specific way when I had such a specific strategy, and I miss out on a move. Or price will present it in the exact way I want to see it, but I'm a little iffy about it because of some of the structure and how it got formed. But hey, because my specific setup is there, I had to take the trade and end up being a loser, even though I had the feeling it would be a loser before I ever even put the trade on. So now I just have a specific approach. And my approach is simply like, I show up at the same time every day, 11 to 4. Now, I have a 3 trade max. So if I show up to the market and take 3 trades in the first hour, then I'm done at 12, bro. Like, it's that simple. If there's no setups for the first hour and I don't trade till 1 or 2, I'm done whenever I am content for the day. So if I have a big win, or I get 2 big wins, like, oh, I'm content with the day, I'm wrapping my day up. Or when I have a few losses and I'm like, oh, nah, the market ain't hitting for me. But once I hit 3 trades, I'm done for the day. It don't matter what the results of them were. 3 trades is my max. The way I see the market, so I start by identifying the phase of the 4 hour. Then I go into the 1 hour and start doing my low time frame analysis. And that's really my approach to the market. I don't have a very specific strategy. Through my back testing, I'm pretty much getting into trades the same way, based on the same concepts. Like I was saying, like, I feel like I've grown to master and really be great at those concepts. So I'm not restricting myself to, oh, I have to see supply and demand in this way for me to get in. No, I'm like, I'm good at I know I'm cold when it comes to the concept of supply and demand in general. So I'm cool with just having a consistent approach to the market. So approaching the market the same way every day, but allowing my knowledge to take control when I actually show up to the market. And that's probably been one of the best decisions I made, not putting too many rules and restrictions. Now, in the beginning, when you're a rookie, bro, you need those rules and restrictions so that you learn what it means to even be disciplined and to be consistent. But once you kind of get past that phase, you're not really emotional. You're doing behaviors not only on the charts but off the charts that prove that you're consistent and that you know how to be disciplined. Now you could take some of those rules away, to where now the only rules I have are about showing up on time, the amount of trades I could take, my risk management, and that's it. Those rules are more so just so that I keep my psychology intact. But other than that, like, I'm just showing up to the market and allowing the knowledge that I have and allowing the concepts that I feel most comfortable in to present themselves and taking advantage of them, you know? And that's worked for me. Like, for some people, they need that super strict strategy, and if that's you, cool. But for me, I don't need that super strict strategy. have 3 years of watching the market. I have a good idea when I'm seeing certain things, and I have a very good concept. I have a very good grasp of the concept of supply and demand, of support and resistance, of candlestick patterns. And for me, that's enough to create an edge that I've back tested and worked with and has shown consistent profitability. It has shown move an opportunity in one of my pairs every day. Um, so that's pretty cool. Another thing I did was I cut down my pairs. So now that I'm trading on such a lower time frame, things are happening faster. So I can't pick between 5 or 6 different pairs like I did when I was swing trading, right? Where it might take hours for a move to occur for me to get into. So I could mark up 6 or 7 pairs and wait for something to happen. No, now I marked it down to 3. And honestly, this is a trial period for 3 because I might take it down to 2 or even only 1 pair, based on like the results and how I feel about it, and whether I even feel like every day I get to mark up the charts how I want to. Because I'll tell you, sometimes with this lower time frame strategy, when I show up to the chart at 11 and I'm marking up my first pair, there might be a move while I'm marking it up. I haven't even got to the other 2 pairs yet, and it's like if I ignore this and go mark up those 2 pairs, the move could easily be over because I allow myself to get in on time frames as low as the 1 minute, or I just focus on this move. And that's what I was going. Like once I see a move and I'm dedicated to getting in that move, I don't care about what the rest of the pairs are doing. I'm focused on this move until I rule this move out, and then I can go look at other pairs as long as I haven't exceeded my trade limit for the day. Now I am going to make a video kind of showing like how I approach the market now. It could end up being a little tough because, like I said, it's not super specific, like, oh, I do this, that, like how I did in the previous video, which I don't want anybody to take this as I'm saying the previous video where I was going over supply and demand, like, isn't valid anymore. Like, no, that shit is still very valid, and I still use a lot of the concepts from that past video, but I use it differently. Like, I don't have to see supply and demand present itself in the exact same way every single time for me to take an opportunity. Like, no, today I might see 5 minutes supply and demand, the next day I might see 15, the next minute I might see 1 minute, and I'm going to get into all of them based off the knowledge I have of supply and demand. Not that, oh, I only can get in if I see it on this one, if I only see it on the 15 minute, or if I only see it on the 1 hour, that's the only way I'm gonna get in. Like, that's not what I'm doing, bro. That's not what I'm doing no more. One of the last things that I did and implemented into my trading that really helped was having a profit target. Before I never really had a profit target. It was kind of like I'm gonna let the market run, and it'll tell me when it's time to get out. On the lower time frame, I feel like the market might very well go in your overall direction, but it's gonna do a lot of bullshit in between point A and point B. So you have to have a profit target on that lower time frame, whether it's 1 to 1, 1 to 2, or 1 to 3. Like for me, I made mine 1 to 2. 1 to 1 was too small, and 1 to 3 I can understand where it doesn't, especially if you're trading like once you get that 5 minute and 1 minute area, like it can get a little hard to get 1 to 3s unless you know what you're doing, unless you know how to tie the time frames together to get it. But I like the 1 to 2 because it's right in the middle. Trading on the lower time frames, I'm going to see a lot more opportunities, at least 1 or 2 good opportunities every single night with my strategy. So in knowing that, a 1 to 2 is cool with me because that means out of every 3 trades I take, if I can win 1 of them, I'll at least be break even. Now, if I can win 2, or let's say price pushes straight past my profit target and I hold it through, so now I get a 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, those are going to be those are going to be separating factors that allow my accounts to get profitable. But again, this is just an update. Like, I just really been in grinding mode. Like, I ain't stopped, I ain't quit, I haven't had nothing really coming to me other than the things that I'm working on, because I really am grinding. Like, I'm really getting the skill set, and I feel so much more comfortable in my trading because I feel like it fits me it fits me based on who I am as a person, and it doesn't feel like I'm forcing it just to try to make it work because this person trades like that. And I feel like that was the thing. I was learning from certain people and felt like I had to trade the exact same way that they trade. Oh, he's a swing trader. Okay, I don't want to be a full swing trader, but let me be an intraday swing, right? And it's like that just never fit who I was. I work very, very well on my feet. I make decisions fast and quick. So going to a lower time frame and getting that faster feedback is definitely going to be better for me. And I kind of knew for a long time, but again, like I said, one of the toughest things to do is really be real with yourself. And to be real with yourself in a way that's productive and not destructive. Like, I feel like a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm real with myself, I'm real with myself. But a lot of people are destructive to themselves. Like, they're like, oh, I'm stupid, I fucked up, I did this, like, oh, I can't do this, and shit like that. But it's like, a productive way to be real with yourself is just being honest. Like, I would say it's probably been months to where it's been months that I've been considering going to a lower time frame because I felt like it would fit me as a person better. But my stubbornness kept telling me not to. It's like I've been spending 2 years, 3 years, 2.5 years studying intraday / swing concepts, and it's like now I want to go to a lower time frame. Oh, I feel like I'm about to have to start over. And that there was enough to scare me away from actually doing it until one night I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna take the leap. What I'm doing ain't working anyway. So what the fuck is the reason that I won't take the leap of faith? And took the leap of faith, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made because it really ain't starting over, bro. All the knowledge translates. Like, really, my learning curve for the lower time frame was cut based on Hold on, sorry. I'm literally live trading right now, so I was in a trade and I'm just closing it out. So 1 second. Okay, I'm done with that. I closed out of that. Where was I? Damn. I'm gonna just pick up wherever. But yeah, ultimately, that was the best decision I made, and based on the knowledge that I acquired over the past 3 years, switching time frames wasn't even as big of a jump as I think many people think it is. I think so many people are scared, myself included, that they're going to have to start their whole journey over if they make a decision that could potentially be better for them. And the reality is, if you understand certain concepts, if you have certain knowledge, it'll translate. You just have to learn more about what you're trying to do. Like, for me, I didn't know anything about the low time frame, so I had to learn certain things about the low time frame from Doyle, because the way you viewed high time frame versus the low time frame is definitely two completely different things. Now, once I learned how to view the lower time frame in comparison to the higher time frame, now I was able to bring a lot of concepts from the higher time frame to the lower time frame. I just had to look at the lower time frame the right way, and that helped me. Like, literally switching to the lower time frame, I felt comfortable trading the lower time frame in like 2 weeks, bro. Like, it really wasn't a big turnaround for me because I already had the knowledge. I was very comfortable in certain concepts. I just had to know what is the different ways that you view the lower time frame in comparison to the higher time frame. Like, for an example, one of the things I noticed is, like, when you're on the higher time frame and you're looking at market structure, you want to pay very close attention to the wicks and how they're making highs and lows. But once you go to the lower time frame, bro, like, you really want to focus on the candle bodies more than the wicks, because the wicks actually can fake a lot of people out more times than not on the lower time frame, where the bodies are more telling on the lower time frame. But on the higher time frame, you know, the bodies are still important, but those wicks say a lot on the higher time frame. So that's just an example of how they're different, and I would have never known that if I didn't have one mentor who was an expert on the higher time frame and one mentor who is an expert on the lower time frame, and literally look to get information equally from both of them and put it together in a way that I understand. So yeah, pretty much to sum up what I've been up to in my journey, it's just the grind. I've been grinding, I've been working. I took like the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks of what was last month? It's June now, so May off, so that I can really study and perfect my lower time frame approach and strategy. And literally today is my first day actually trying it out in the market. And what I'll say is, I will say the biggest thing about switching is the new problems that you'll have. Like, I never had a problem with calculating my risk and lot size on the higher time frame because the commissions were low. Like, I'm trading, I have like a 20 pip stop loss, so my lot size is maybe like less than a one or a one something, so my commission isn't crazy. But you go down to the lower time frame, bro, you're gonna be taking 5, 6, 7, 8 lot, 8, 9, 10 lot trades where the commission is like 60 or 70 bucks, bro. So, and that might not be a lot depending on how much you're risking per trade, but you really gotta, it's different. So I would say, like, with this being my first night actually using it, I had no issues when it came to the moves I was taking, the trades I was taking, and following my rules. But one thing that I didn't experience when I was back testing and I'm experiencing live time is when it comes to the lower time frame, I have to include spread into my risk as well as commission into my risk. So for an example of that is, let's say I'm saying I want to risk $100 on this trade, and when I mark it up on TradingView says I have a 2 pip stop loss, right? Well, if I go to MetaTrader 4 and there's a 1 pip spread, I can't just calculate my trade as if it's a 2 pip stop loss. I now have to add that 1 pip in spread to my risk and treat it as if it's a 3 pip stop loss instead of a 2 pip, because when it's that 1 pip spread, once you get in, you're already a pip behind. That's basically what the spread is. So if you're looking at a chart and you see the one black line, the one red line, like, you think you're getting in where the black line is. No, when you hit sell or buy where the black line is, you're getting in where the red line is. So you're already starting in the negative. So if you don't calculate that into your risk, you're going to be risking more than you expect. The second part is you have to calculate commissions. So I'm not sure who your broker is or whatever the case may be, but the broker I'm using, KOT, like, it's $7 per lot, bro. $7 a lot, and anything in between, you just got to do the math. But it's $7 per lot in commission. So let's say I'm trading a 3 lot, that's $21 in commission. So either I need to accept that instead of losing 100, I might lose 121, or I might need to cut my lot size to compensate for that $21 in commission. And that's something I learned literally just now tonight. Tonight is my first day in the live market with the strategy. And everything about my strategy and approach I love, but the one thing that's why they say you really can't be experienced, bro. Because all the back testing and shit I did, none of that presented to me the issue of getting the correct lot size. I didn't learn that till I actually started live testing. And, you know, like I said, like I normally do, I write down a question, how can I get more accurate lot? And then I was like, well, if I include whatever the spread is into the stop loss amount in pips, right? So like I was saying, if there's a 1 pip spread and I have a 2 pip stop loss, I really need to calculate it as if my stop loss is 3 pips, so that I account for that 1 pip that that the spread is kind of fucking me over with. But I got that shit straight from experience, and now I learned from it. I wrote the question down, I figured out some things, and now I'm ready to take that into tomorrow. So that shouldn't be a problem for me tomorrow, but if it is a problem, it should be a new version of that problem. Like, I shouldn't have the same problem of I'm thinking I'm risking $100 and I end up losing 200 because I didn't calculate the spread or the commission. If I have a problem tomorrow with this, it should be something completely different. Maybe I undercalculated, right? Or maybe I slightly overcalculated, you know, looking to perfect that in whatever way I need to. But yeah, it's just an update for myself. So, and I feel good. I feel more so like my trading is geared to me. I feel like it makes more sense to me. I would say today, I felt more comfortable coming to the market today knowing that I was going to approach the market the way I am than I felt in a while. Like, I feel like before Never really knew whether I was gonna see one. I was setting buy and sell limits a lot because I would stay up from 11 to 4 a.m. and like my moves wouldn't be fully happening to where I could get into a trade. They would play out mostly, and I would just have to set a buy or sell limit right before I go to bed and hope that my confluence held up while I was asleep. And it was like, bro, that was not the type of trading I was looking for. At least not at this point in time. Like, I have 5-6 hours to dedicate to being on the chart. So why am I looking to trade as if I only have 30 minutes or an hour to be on the charts? Like, that don't make sense. So just based on my schedule and everything, me scalping slash lower time for intraday trading, like, it was something I should have been doing. But I had to take that chance on myself. I had to take that chance on education. That's a big thing. If anybody comes across this video, like, if you want to know something, bro, I get the idea of, oh, I'm self-made, I got this shit from Q, Aristotle, bro. Anybody who's successful, they're not gonna tell you to go figure that shit out for yourself. They're gonna say, find somebody who's a master of that shit or who's better at that shit than you are, and be willing to pay them for what they know, because that's what's gonna cut your learning curve. I promise on everything. If I didn't pay for Doyle's course and I just tried to figure out the low time frame on my own, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't have figured it out, but it might have taken me the rest of this year and some of next year just to get to a decent point where I bought his course, went through it in one night, and in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, I'm not saying I'm as cool as him at it, because I mean, I use it a little differently, but I will say I have a very, 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 very solid foundation and understanding of using the lower time frame, because I paid for his knowledge rather than going into the market with zero knowledge and learning all from experience. So if it's something you want to do, if it's something you want to get good at, if you know somebody who's selling their knowledge and you know, like, oh, this person is legit, like I said, it's not like I just heard about Doyle and decided to buy his course. I watched this man's Instagram story for 6 months straight, and he might have had 2 or 3 losing days. Now, that don't mean he didn't lose trades on the day-to-day, but he might lose a trade and then his next trade makes up for the loss and gives him profit, which is a winning day. So out of 6 months, I think I've seen this man have 2 or 3 losing days. That is crazy, bro. So you really think I'm about to spend a year of my time trying to be self-made and figure out the low time frame on my own, when I'm literally connected and following somebody who I've seen kill the 5-minute charts and literally win every day except 3 for the last 6 months? Man, fuck that. I'm about to drop that 350 on his course, run through it, see what I can learn. Like, my thing is, you can't go and buy courses in education and expect them to be the holy grail or change your life. Like, no. When you're buying that stuff, if you can get one thing out of it, it's up to you to utilize that in a way that, like, it's going to make you your money back. Like, Trading in the Zone. Trading in the Zone is not a cheap book, bro. Especially if you get it from the bookstore. Trading in the Zone is like $70 book. You might get it on Amazon for like $50. Somebody who's big on education, they're gonna be like, that's not a lot, bro. If I could buy Trading in the Zone for $50, read it and learn just 2 or 3 things from it, that could be making me $50 extra in the market every day. That's what a successful person is looking at it like. But then you have the cheap person who's like, what the fuck is $50 for a book? Like, what the fuck I'm gonna pay $50? They're not seeing the upside potential to it. And that's what you have to see. Like, before I bought this course, I asked myself, what was the upside potential of it? And the upside potential of it was, even if I don't learn anything to add to my trading strategy, just learning about how to view the lower time frame successfully. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm learning how to view the lower time frame from Doyle and I see that he's successful almost every single day trading it, I know it's gonna make me better in some way. Even if it only makes me a little tiny bit better, I'm better than when I started, and I'm better than where I would have been if I just tried to figure it out on my own. So don't be ashamed, don't be scared to pay for things that you want to know more about. if you buy it and you don't really learn anything from it, like, you just gotta charge it to the game. Like, how many times you've been to a restaurant you've never been to before, and the food was nasty, but you still have to pay for that shit anyway? Like, it's certain shit you gotta charge to the game. Like, if you buy some courses and shit and they not hitting for you, like, charge it to the game, but don't say, oh, I'm not gonna buy courses no more. Like, you gotta stay a student, bro. Even when you master your own little craft or shit, like, even once I get this trading shit down pat and the profits start coming in, now I'm gonna have to look into avenues to invest. So let's say real estate, just because that's popular. You think I'm about to take 5 to 10 years to become a master of real estate on my own? You got me fucked up. All the years I've been spending perfecting my trading, somebody else been spending those same years perfecting their real estate craft. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm not about to figure that shit out by myself. I'm about to hit them up. Hey man, I see that you a master when it comes to investing in this real estate shit. How much do it cost to get in a room with you? How much do it cost to get you at a lunch table with me? How much do it cost to get your course or class that'll help me cut my learning curve? Because, bro, all of that self-made, taking the long route, man, that's some bullshit, bro. That's some shit you gotta do when you're broke and you really can't afford education. That's when you gotta learn the hard way. But when you get you a little bit of money, man, like, come on, be real. Motherfuckers is wasting money anyway. You probably went out, you probably done bought your ass a drink. Well, how much you drink? $15? Nigga, and you know you ain't had one. You probably had about 3 or 4 of them motherfuckers. So you done spent $60 on alcohol. And you telling me you spent $60 on alcohol, and the only thing that shit gonna do is give you a hangover tomorrow. But you telling me you won't spend $50 on a book that can potentially make you a couple hundred K, a couple grand, a couple hundred K extra in a couple months or years of actually putting in and applying the things that you're learning from it. Like, it's mad crazy, bro. But it's a shift in mindset. Like, I was the same way, bro. I'd definitely rather get down and party. I'd rather spend $20 partying than $20 on a goddamn book. I'm just being real with you. You already see right here. Sorry, my camera a little bit. You already see right here. I went to A&T, so you know how G-Ho get homecoming, all of that shit. So it gets lit. But now my mindset has shifted to where, like, I'm looking at return on investment for a lot of things that I'm doing. Now, that's not to say that I'm not living. Like, I don't go have fun here, but I'm not out here and going out nearly as much as I was before. Like, I wouldn't even say I go out and do shit once a month. Like, it might be once every 2 or 3 months, because the return on investment is just like, what the fuck is what's the return on investment on drinking alcohol, bro? What's the return on investment on smoking weed? Other than you like doing it. Like, don't get me wrong. If it's something that you like doing, cool, do it in moderation, but make sure you also can afford to do it, bro. Like, if it's between investing in yourself and buying a bottle, if you pick buying a bottle, your priorities are fucked all the way up. But yeah, my mindset switched to where, like, now I'm looking at return on investment. Like, that's why that night, like, it was really a snap decision when I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy the Doyle course. But it wasn't one that I regretted for a second, or that I was overthinking for a second. I was like, immediately in my head, I was like, 350? 350, that's all? I'm dead ass. I'm low-key sitting here like, 350? That's it? I done seen this nigga win every day for the last 6 or 7 months, and it only costs $350 to know what he know about the market. Here, take my money. $350. And you know, the craziest part was that I made my money back that same night. That's the funniest part about it, bro. I literally bought this course probably like 10. I got through the whole thing by about 2:30, 3 o'clock, because I was really just in my zone. And I was like, you know what? Let me go to the market and try this with a little bit of money. And I literally immediately put those concepts into work. And the same $350 I put into his course, I made $400 that same night. So I made back everything I had just spent off of utilizing the knowledge he gave. And literally one night, like, it's not like I was a master of what he was doing, but it was explained so well, mixed with the prior knowledge I had about the markets, market structure, price action, candlestick patterns. I was able to make my money back the same night. So everything else that I've been able to create from there and do with that has literally all been profit. It's been all profit for me. So I say that to say to somebody who's on the edge, who's like, oh, should I really spend this money on this course? Ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen, bro? What's the worst thing that happen? If you buy somebody course, if the worst thing that can happen is that you learn one thing, it sounds like you got your money worth. Because ask yourself about these other things you're spending money on. What's the worst thing that can happen from you going out and spending money on alcohol? A drinking and driving incident, alcohol poisoning. You get so sick you don't know where you at. You end up with people you don't even know. What's the worst thing that can happen from you paying for smoke or just paying to go out to eat? Let's say you like to go out to eat. What's the worst thing that can happen from you investing in eating or going out to restaurants every single week? You can get fucking fat. You can get fucking fat. And I know that shit from experience, bro. Like, I definitely was in shape, motherfucker. Got big as a motherfucker. And it took me a minute to work that shit off. And now I'm just an in shape nigga, so. But really ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen from the things you already spend your money on? And then what's the worst that can happen from investing into something that can really, really, really make you more money? Because what you gotta understand is, like, a lot of the stuff that most people spend their money on is temporary. Like, it might make you feel good. Like, even clothes, bro. Like, even some clothes. Like, shit's temporary. At some point, I'm gonna grow out of it. Like, I'm gonna be working out or something. My arms gonna get big. My legs might get too big, and I gotta go buy more clothes. But if I pay for some education, like, that shit always gonna be here. And the more that I apply it and the more I use it, the more instilled it gets in here, the more automatic it becomes in my thought process. And it's like, so am I going to just continue wasting my money away on these materialistic items that are very, very temporary? Or are you going to start investing in your greatest asset, which is your mind? The one thing you have until the day you're gone. I mean, it's really a simple choice, but it all depends what you want out of life. But this is just an update for me. Not sure what the next video will be, but I'll definitely be making a video kind of going over the way I approach the market now and just the new set of problems that I encounter with this new market approach. So I hope everybody having a good night. I hope your day is going well, and I'll see y'all next time.